Hey guys, welcome back. I hope these sessions are really proving useful to you. You might feel that we are going a little bit slow, but my intention is that to make you aware of the core concepts of TypeScript. In fact, today's session is also focused upon understanding one of the key elements in the TypeScript configuration. You might have noticed that when we generated JavaScript files using the TSC compiler, it is actually getting generated within the same folder where our TypeScript file resides. Now this might be okay from a learning perspective, but when you start working on a real life project, this will be a nuisance. The ideal recommended practice is that all the generated files should be generated in a separate folder and it should not reside within the same source folder. This will be also valuable from the version control system's point of view. You will notice that in case of Git, there is a file called as git ignore, which is specially used to ignore such kind of folders. Let me just quickly jump to command prompt and generate a sample project so that you can understand it better. Go to the command prompt and then switch to a directory wherein you want to create our project. Let's just name this project as TypeScript config. Switch to this folder, generate the default Node.js configuration. We are adding $y so that it will be generated with the default attributes. You don't have to provide any information. Press enter. The package.json file has been generated. Let's just generate the TypeScript configuration as well. TSC $y in it. Open this folder in Explorer. Both the files are present. We just switch to Visual Studio Code. Let's just create index.ts file. We'll be creating a simple greeting class which will greet a user. The class has a method called as sayHello. It accepts a parameter user which is of type string and another parameter greeting from which is also of type string. The method is not going to return any value, so we preface it with void. Open close curly brackets. We are going to print a message console.log say hello. Concat the user variable. Let's add an excitement to it and we say this greeting is from the second parameter. Let's just create an instance of this class. So var g greeting is equal to new greeting. Just call the sayHello method. First parameter Jack, second parameter Jenny. We just save this file. Now instead of going back to the command prompt, I will show you one of the utility in Visual Studio Code IDE itself. Press Ctrl+Shift+P, type terminal, select the first option switch active terminal. This will prompt you to create a new integrated terminal, select that. And Visual Studio Code will create a window with a terminal and this terminal will point to the project source folder. You can see that location over here. Now this is very convenient when we are writing a code in Visual Studio Code. Instead of switching back to command prompt and code, you can work within the Visual Studio Code itself. Let's just type the TSC command and you will see that the index.js file is actually generated within the same folder. Now we don't want to create this JS file within the same folder. We want to create it in a different folder. Let's just create a new folder called as dist. Now you can manually move this file, but instead of doing that, we will make use of the TypeScript configuration. So before we get into the configuration, let's just get rid of this index.js file. Delete it. Move it to the recycle bin. Okay, so the file has been deleted. Our purpose is that we want to generate this JS file in the dist folder. So go to the tsconfig.json, and over here you will find an option called as out.dir. The option is by default commented. You just uncomment it by removing these 2 forward slashes. Initialize its value with ./dist. Save this configuration. And now execute the tsc command again. You will see that the JS file is now generated inside the dist folder. Let's just execute it. So in case of Windows, you'll have to use a different path separator. So it is node./dist index.js. Press enter. Wow, the message is getting printed on the terminal. Now it is not just a file that gets placed in the dist folder, but if you have a folder, let's assume you have a folder called as lib, which contains some utility classes. So we create a utility class inside a lib folder, name it as utilities.ts. We're going to create a simple class which is going to return a version information. So version information, it has a method get version. Now I'm defining this method as static, primarily because I don't want to create an instance of version information class, because it is my utility class and you usually don't create an instance of utility. You just try to access some methods by using the class name. This is going to return the version information. So 1.0 alpha, this is an arbitrary version information. Save this. Notice we have to export this class, so prefix it with export keyword. Save the file again. Go back to the index.ts and we are going to print a message. So console.log, type name of the class version information dot get version. Open close round brackets. Save this. Save this file. Go to the terminal again. Type tsc. You'll see that the Visual Studio Code has compiled the TypeScript definition using the tsc command, and the lib folder is now placed inside the dist. It is an ideal condition. Let's just execute our program to ensure that it is working fine. Oh my bad. The command is node.dist index.js. Wow, everything is working fine. I hope in this lecture you will learn these useful configuration elements. Over the period, we will also explore additional options. But till then, practice this example that we tried today. And if you face any problems, feel free to comment on this YouTube video. Thank you.